Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we're going to be doing a quick video, hopefully quick, talking about Brownells Aluma Hyde. It's a spray finish that we're going to be working with here today. And if you want to learn more about metal prep, refinishing, gunsmithing related activities, definitely check out SDI. They're definitely a great college to go through. If you got unused GI Bill, check them out. It's a great way to learn more about this stuff in more detail than what I'm going through in this video. So let's talk about this a little bit. Aluma Hyde is sold in a 12-ounce can, and it's a spray finish. We've already shook these cans up pretty good. They come in a variety of different colors. Pretty much your usual suspects. You've got an OD green, a matte black, a coyote tan, a light brown, dark brown, earth tones basically. You've got a matte clear coat. You can get a gloss clear coat, and then they also sell a degreaser. Now, without getting into a total spiel on metal prep, there's a wide variety of different things you can do to prepare the metal surfaces that you plan on coating with Aluma Hyde, okay? And it really depends on the overall goal of what you're trying to accomplish. In today's case, we're going to be finishing a 545 by 39 Sega that I built forever ago. And right now it's just got the Russian black paint on it, which has actually held up quite good over the years. So in terms of the refinishing options that you have for, coating a given gun, whether, you're using Aluma Hyde, Cerakote, Duracoat, whatever finish you decide to use, the principles still apply, that the metal prep is going to have a lot to do with how good the finished product looks, okay? And those varying degrees of finish that you're looking for are going to depend on what you want. Say you have a hunting rifle that's rusted out beyond belief. It's got, literal rust and pits all over the metal, and you want to use Aluma Hyde to really restore and bring that hunting rifle back to a field-ready condition. That's something that's going to require a full degrease, as well as, a 180 to 225 grit aluminum oxide blast to be able to blast all of the existing surface rust and the existing finish off of the firearm before you go on to refinish it. So when you're talking about refinishing something that is a borderline restoration, the metal prep is going to be really important. You wouldn't want to just spray over the top of rust, right? Because that rust is still there. You want to blast that rust away and then neutralize the metal, and then allow this finish to fill in the pores of the metal and protect the metal, okay? In the case of today's video, we're just going to degrease the gun and we're going to spray the gun. We're going more for cosmetic appearance. So a finish is going to give you a couple of different things. A finish is either going to provide beauty and luster, like if you go with a hot blue finish, or let's say a really nice rust bluing, okay, like on an old Luger or an old, service weapon or something like that. Rust bluing, it provides protection as well as a beautiful cosmetic appearance. So a finish either needs to provide a cosmetic look you're going for, or it needs to provide a literal amount of protection, or both. In today's case, the finish that's on my Sega is really not that bad. All up under the line of the handguard, as well as inside of the action, it has the original Russian black finish, which we're not going to really mess with because it's held up great over the years. Today, what we're concerned about is cosmetics. All we care about is what the gun looks like. Now, sure, we want the finish to hold up well, so we are going to degrease it really well, and we're going to spray it off and make sure that we remove all amount of trace oils from the metal, and that's going to have a very big part in how this finish adheres to the metal surface. So without going further, I'll just say that the metal prep really does dictate the final result that you're trying to get out of a finish. And it really depends on how far down the rabbit hole you're willing to go. Okay, you could pull apart this gun and take every single individual piece and sandblast it off, or use aluminum oxide and blast it off, degrease it, give it a hot water bath, get it completely what they call pickled, pickle it, degrease it, all of that, okay? And then that finish is going to be as good as it possibly could be. But for today's instance, we're going to go for cosmetics here. We're going to spray over the existing gun, and we're going to spray it assembled. So I wanted to make it clear in this video that there are different methods for achieving these results, and it depends on what you individually want. Take as much or as little prep work as you deem necessary for your project, but just understand that how good of a finish you get is ultimately going to come down to how much prep you're willing to put into the workpiece. Spraying the workpiece is the easy part. Prepping is what takes all of the time up, okay? So more about Aluma Hyde. So Aluma Hyde is basically, it is pre-mixed and pre-ready to go. You just shake it up. It's in an aerosol can, 12 ounces. Everything's ready to go. If you can run a spray paint can, you can run this. So one of the advantages to this system is that it's a ready-to-go solution right out of the box that you can spray anywhere at any time with no special equipment necessary. So that's a plus for the Aluma Hyde, is it's ready to go. You shake it up, you spray it, okay? One of the detriments that I found, I have sprayed a few guns with this so far, you got to keep the nozzles in some form of, you know, maybe like a solvent. Like I've got some of this pre-solve from LPS, or you can use some of their TCE degreaser, spray it in a small container. And it's probably a good idea to keep these nozzles in some form of a solvent, because this stuff, when it cures, is some pretty gnarly stuff. And it will clog up these nozzles. So that's one immediate thing I've noticed, is that if you're not careful, the nozzles can get clogged. Other than that, it's a very rugged finish. It seems to be holding up really good. I've got another AK over here that we've already coated with the Aluma Hyde, and I've been beating up on it for a few weeks, and it's holding up really nice, okay? So we're gonna go through this process. We're gonna degrease the gun, and then we're gonna go about this Rube Goldberg style, guys. I'm just gonna go freestyle. We're gonna literally treat this AK like a piece of street graffiti, and I'm gonna just have fun with this, and we're gonna see what my imagination conjures up here, and we'll just see if we can get a nice looking result. Remember, I'm only concerned about cosmetics here. I know that the inside of the gun's not getting coated. I know that we're not pulling it apart to the tiniest piece. We're going for a backyard redneck Bubba paint job, but we just want to use good quality paint to do that. Now, it helps to have one of these little guys here. This is just a little trigger mechanism Rust-Oleum makes that you can connect these cans into, and it just makes spraying a little bit more precise and just keeps the can away from your body, so you're not getting so much of this crap all over your body. And I would strongly recommend spraying Aluma Hyde outside. It will get all over the floor, all over everything inside of a shop or an indoor space. I would try to spray it outside if the weather dictates. It helps to have a set of nitrile gloves. You're gonna see in a moment why. And then we got some 550 cord to suspend our workpiece. Other than that, maybe a couple of pieces of burlap, which we're gonna use to our advantage here artistically here in a moment, as well as some other fun things that we'll discover here as we go along in the video. So let's get to it. We're gonna start by degreasing the workpiece. We'll suit up. Should be pretty easy, not really a big deal. Let's just have fun with this. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys, I mean, I've done this a heck of a lot with different guns and everything over the years. We're gonna spray it assembled. And again, this is not the best way to get a really, really, really good finish, but we're just concerned about making it hide in the woods. That's really all we care about. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit this thing with some degreaser. We just wanna get all of the oils off of this bad guy here. We are gonna coat a magazine to match, because why not? We got a Polish barrel folding stock on this particular gun. That's what's here. This is a Moloch grip, and that's a Circle 10 Bulgarian magazine that's on this. This is a vented slotted rail from Carolina Shooter Sports with their accessory rail right here. And then this is a Tapco 2-chamber crank style brake. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let all of this flash off, and then we'll have a look at it. I can see some of the paint is actually wrinkling right here. This is some pretty gnarly stuff and it's taking a little bit of this Russian paint off. That's okay, we'll look at this as we go, and if we have any of this paint start to break up after this dries, we might take and hit it with the air nozzle and try to get some of this loose paint off. That's not a big deal. All right, we've already sprayed one AK. You'll probably be seeing a little bit of that from the other day. And we try to just have fun with these finishes. I don't try to prove anything here. We're just trying to show you guys how to use this product. The base coat is generally always going to be the most predominant color in the camo finish. So we've already got black to begin with. So we have to ask ourselves at this point, what kind of challenge are we looking for? Do we want to re-base coat this thing in a completely different color? The first gun, we did the whole thing OD green, and it turned out sharp. Even just being solid green, it looked really great. In this case, we've got a rifle that's already all black. I went through and blew this thing off with the air nozzle really well, and I did go ahead and take a Brillo pad and scuff up some of the high areas where some of our black caliper paint touch-up from before was coming loose. This gun has been cooked in the ultrasonic at least about 6 times from shooting a lot of corrosive ammunition, so the original finish is a little bit worse for wear just from being cooked so much. We're going to go ahead and start with some matte black, and what I'm going to do, we're going to take OD green and matte black. We're going to go ahead and go over this workpiece. We're going to go for some stripes. Okay? Just bear with me here. Let's just have fun with this. But first, what we're going to do, and obviously this firearm is unloaded, guys, okay? So you're going to see me handling this thing in some weird ways. We're going to go ahead and start by just suspending the gun about in this direction, like this. And you want to really start by spraying some of these areas where you've got to be able to get at it from certain angles, like the holes inside of the vent on the fore end, the vented holes. You got to kind of spray those and get in there a little bit. But what I'm going to start by doing is just hitting these areas right here, the front of the magazine, flat black, the front of the grip, the muzzle device, and up inside of here, the front of the sight base, and the front of the fore end assembly, and some of these spots just to help blend it in and to help protect it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Sorry, tree. Now, when you're working with Aluma Hyde, you got about 30 minutes to work, guys. So whatever you're going to do, you need to make up your mind in a half hour. All right? So again, tying in this area, right there along the folding mech, the inside of the pad back there. And you notice we've just got it hastily drawn up in a piece of 550 cord, guys. We're not concerned about super much about aesthetics here. Actually, we're only concerned about aesthetics. We only care about the way this gun looks. Well, I'm not tremendously concerned if the finish is going to last from here to Kingdom Come. All right? All we care about is making it hide. All right. So we went from that forward angle to fill in a lot of those areas that are forward opposed. When this workpiece is hanging, it's really hard for me to get in this area, front of the mag, the front of the action, inside of some of those kind of tight areas. So you want to spray from the front and fill those areas first. Since black is our predominant base coat that we began with already, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing pointing in the downward direction, okay? And this is just ensuring that we get proper coverage in some of these hard to get areas first, because the more we paint this thing, the more tackier it gets, the harder it is to hold. So we want to mitigate the handling of the workpiece early. So we do that by hitting the trouble spots first. That makes sense? So in that case, we'd probably want to go through and hit down in this direction, kind of like this. Down right there, back side of the grip. Back of the magazine latch, inside of the trigger guard, back side of the magazine itself. I know this isn't exciting because the gun was black to begin with, but trust me, we're about to get outlandish here in a moment. All right. Back of the charging handle, this whole area, the back of the rear sight, we're going to go ahead and hit that. Guys, you know, it's just like when you're a kid spraying spray paint. Same thing, okay? Getting down the rail, the front sight base right here, getting the inside of the brake all the way around. Probably a good opportunity to get that now while we can. Okay, go ahead and hit the head of that screw there. Go ahead and give it just a light dusting. You know, from a standpoint of a touch-up, that'd probably be good enough for some touch-up purposes, is to hit the forward and rear opposed portions and then whatever scratched on the physical gun. And for touch-up purposes, if you wanted black, that would probably be enough, okay? But that's not enough for what we want to do. All right, we're going to set the black aside for a moment. We're going to grab some green. I'm going to go for like kind of a, almost like a tiger stripe, okay? So we're going to go and we're going to hit this thing with some green stripes and then tie in the inner portions with black. And then we're going to blend all that in with some foliage and some burlap, and we're going to make this thing look really cool. It's going to look cool enough for our purposes. Okay. Let's just have fun with this, guys. I mean, it's not rocket science. Now, this stuff will dry enough to touch in about 10 minutes, but you don't want to heavily handle this thing. If you're going to let it air dry, it needs to sit for about a day, okay? You can rapidly cure Aluma Hyde if you want. With about 180 degree bake at about an hour, hour and a half, you can rapidly cure it just like you can Duracoat, Cerakote, and everything like that. All right. So I have to be mindful of where I have to rotate and hold this workpiece. So see, I can rotate it from the butt. I can hold it by the string, but see, that's not quite as, you know, precise. So I'm going to opt to use the butt of the rifle to control the rotational axis here. So what we'll do is we'll start kind of low, and we're going to start laying down some green stripes on this thing. Switching back to black. Just going to go in and make sure our blacks are black. Does that make sense? Don't worry about overspray. Don't worry about, oh, it's ugly. Don't worry about, oh, it looks like Conan the Barbarian. It's fine, guys. This is a cosmetic finish. I want chaos in this finish. I do not want it to look like something. I want it to look like nothing. Grasshopper. we got a little bit of overspray and specks in there. That's cool because this is our base coat, all right? So what we did with this is instead of doing solid black, solid green, like I did with the other one, we're gonna do solid black and green to give us that sort of like just two-tone appearance. So we're already breaking up the lines in the gun already just by varying the colors and fooling the eye. Now, I have to work within the next 10 or 15 minutes. We're gonna start laying down some other colors, and we're gonna, these lines that are deliberately there between green and black, we're gonna blend those. Let's do that. You wanna start with some type of a foliage from your local area. We've got just a little bit of a piece of a tree here. We're gonna use this to lay down, you know, disrupt these lines a bit that we've got going on right here. But I wanna disrupt them where the colors meet each other. So we're just gonna start on the top, and this is just sort of a quick, like a, and this is a tan that we're laying in here, okay? Not gonna hurt a dang thing. Chad is going to don a bit of protective gear, and he's going to help hold this workpiece. Just from the butt, if you don't mind, Chad. Thank you. Back right there. Thank you. See, that's already looking good, man. That's breaking up those lines where the black and the green come together, and it's giving us a nice look there. All right, go ahead and rotate right there. Thank you. Let's see. And this is just embellishment, guys. This isn't really, you know, we're not trying to make this thing look like a modern art masterpiece. Well, maybe Chad would, but you know me, I just want it to look like nothing. Like, oh, don't worry. That is not a person in the woods with a rifle. No. Yep, it's fine, keep going. Nothing to see here, or here, in Chad's case. Nothing to see.
My eyes!
Ah, my eyes. All right. Uh-oh. My nozzle. Uh-oh. All right, we've got a nozzle cloggage. But that's fine though, because we're actually, see, did I get the other side? That's about all I really want to tie in with that color anyway. I got to figure out what's going on with my nozzle here. Yep, yeah, that nozzle got clogged on this can. I'm gonna switch nozzles. That's looking pretty cool so far. And we're gonna start laying down some burlap. Nozzles get clogged, oh no, a little bit. I spilled some on me. Anyway, that's something to consider. You probably wanna keep these nozzles in some type of a solvent like I mentioned earlier. It just seems like they wanna clog a little bit. We're gonna unclog these and move on with life. We need to work fast though, because you know this thing will cure. We've still got some stuff to do here. Stick around, we're not done yet, guys. All right, we're gonna grab some ferns and go ahead and lay down a little bit more of this brown. Just ended up getting a little bit of a clogged nozzle there. No big deal. We seem to be back in business here. All right, I'm gonna do something adventurous and hope that it ends up working out all right. Oh yeah. Breaking up lines. Oh, that looks so much better. All right, wait, one more. Okay, turn it, thank you, right there. All right, rotate. Why do I feel like Martha Stewart right now? I feel like I should be directing a cooking show. We're just gonna lay down a little bit of sprig of fern here on this. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, this is almost done. All right, we're gonna run some burlap, and we're gonna finish up with a clear coat. One more thing on that base right there. Oh man, even if somebody pops out of the bushes and sees the underside of my rifle, it'll still be hidden. All right, so our lightest color we wanna use the most sparingly. It's gonna really make some of this stuff pop, especially once we put a clear coat on it. It's gonna help all these colors sort of homogenize and come together. We're gonna apply this burlap kind of sparingly. If it's a piece of burlap that you've sprayed through already, you wanna take and kind of knead it, you know, sort of pull it around and make sure that the holes are broken back up. And this is like really subtle. This is the coyote color. It's really like a super light tan, almost white. When it lays down, we're gonna take some of these areas that look maybe just, the busy areas we wanna leave alone. The non-busy areas we wanna lay in a little bit. So we're just gonna wrap this right here. Just give it a little spray here and see what it looks like. Sorry, tree. It's okay if we get some little hairs. Don't worry about if you get little bits of stuff or a little piece of a leaf or something on there or something sticks to it, do not worry about it. Let it cure, and you can take a air nozzle later and blow it, and it'll blow right off the finish. And if it doesn't, you can just grab a little pair of tweezers and pull it right off. Don't worry about it. That looks good. A little bit. Hold it right there. Thank you. It helps to have an additional pair of hands. Gotcha. Oh, baby. It's done. Stick a fork in it. All right. We have to lay down a bit of a clear coat. We're gonna do that now. We'll grab like a little bit of tweezers or something. If we've got any little bits of fiber, like we got maybe just a tiny amount here and there, we'll pull those off, and then we're gonna clear coat it. Now, the reason you want clear is what the clear coat does is it sort of makes all of these colors, which right now are just a giant hodgepodge of different color on this gun. It's gonna make them all sort of blend and look like it belongs. The clear coat, I feel, is a pretty important part of this process. It sort of seals the totality of the finish in and makes it look a lot more seamless, okay? And it doesn't have to be like super precise. You just wanna go through and clear coat this thing. I wouldn't lay down a stupid thick clear coat because it's really gonna increase the cure time that this thing requires, but we're gonna lay down enough to where everything blends in real nicely. And there's still some little like burlap pieces from where I was pushing up against it, but like I said, that burlap, it'll come right off. Once this cures fully, we're not gonna mess with it. It'll be just fine. You'll be able to just pick it right off. It won't be a big deal. I can't tell you how many rifles I've done like this. A lot of stuff you've seen on the channel have been firearms that I have finished in a very similar fashion to what I'm doing right here. Chad's green AR, a lot of the Segas that you see on the channel, this is how we do them. And I've never had a problem. they hold up just fine. And this is looking real nice. Just a little bit more. And then we're gonna go eat some lunch and let this cure up real good where we can at least handle it enough. And I think we're gonna be good to go. So give us a few minutes here, guys, and we'll show you a close-up of some of this, how it looks. I think we're good. I mean, it's good enough to go hide in the woods and hunt or whatever you need to do.